This is going to be Geometry Unit 4, 2B Notes, Congruent Figures. Now the title is Congruent Figures, which means really any type of shape could be considered congruent. You know, a four-sided shape could be congruent to another four-sided shape. An irregular shape could be congruent to another irregular shape. But most of our work is going to be in congruent triangles. So congruent is another word similar to the word equal, except congruent triangles are going to be the same shape and the same size. Same shape and the same size. They're like patterns of each other. If I have one on top of the other, they're exactly the same. When I look at that same shape and same size, they're going to have what we call corresponding parts. Those parts could be sides or angles, and those corresponding parts are going to be congruent or equal. Okay, so that means when I'm matching up two triangles and two angles are corresponding to each other, they are going to be equal. Same thing with two sides that are corresponding, they are going to be equal. So we use a lot of marking on our triangles here. So a congruency statement is going to show me, this is a congruency statement right here. And when we write that, the corresponding parts, A and D, if you look here, A has one mark, D has one mark. They are corresponding to each other. They need to be in the same position within this statement. Same thing with B and E. If I look over here, both B and E are marked exactly the same. They are corresponding to each other, so they have to be in the same spot, in this case in the middle. Same thing with C and F. They are corresponding. So this is a congruency statement. From this statement, I can pretty much determine, even without the picture, if this statement is accurate, I can determine which angles are going to be equal to each other and which sides are going to be equal to each other. So let's do that in number 1 here. From this statement here, I can determine what angles are equal and then what sides are going to be equal. So when I look at this first letter here, J, corresponds with P, so that means angle J is going to equal angle P. Angle K is in the middle, so its corresponding piece over here is angle Q. Angle L and angle R. So I know those are the corresponding pieces. They are matched up in my statement up here. Same thing with the sides. Just find the pattern. So JK is the first two, so that's going to match up with PQ. Then I'm going to go to the second and third spot, so KL. Second and third matches up with QR. And then the last one, JL, is going to match up with PR. It doesn't really matter which one you do first. And just because these pieces are equal doesn't mean they're all equal. It's just this set of sides is equal, this set is equal, and this set is equal. Okay, why don't you stop the video and do number 2 on your own. Okay, so here we go. To find the angles, I'm going to have angle W equals angle E, X equals F, Y equals G. Sides, WX equals EF, XY equals FG, and WY equals EG. Now down here where it says write another valid congruency statement, that would look something like this. If I took the first triangle and moved the letters around, let's say X, Y, W, same 3 letters just in a different order, when I write my other congruency triangle, I have to again make sure that all the corresponding pieces are in the right area. So if X is first, X corresponds with F, so I have to put F first. Y is in the middle. Y has to correspond to G, so G has to be in the middle, and then E is going to be at the end. That's what they mean by another congruency statement. So, number 3, it tells me that these two triangles are congruent. Complete each of the following statements. Now, they give us a triangle here, and I could go through and I could match these up. So angle K and angle A would match up. They are corresponding angles. Same thing with P and Y, and then C and M would also be corresponding. You can do it that way and decide what parts go with what, or you can just look at this congruency statement and just figure out what's matched up. So when I look at this first one, KM is the first and third, so that's going to match up with the first and third AC. CY is the second and third. PM is the second and third. They are going to match up. So I think it's easier sometimes just to do it from this congruency statement. So PK, P to K, second to first. Second to first is going to be YA. Angle Y is going to match up with angle P. Again, they're just in the same spots here. K is in the first spot, A is in the first spot. Angle ACY, which is this angle C here, or ACY, KMP. These last two would be examples of another congruency statement. So MPK, this one, if I look at the pattern, they're just taking MPK. So when I write my other one, I'm going to do the same thing, CYA. What they do the first one, you're going to just mix and match. So this one, they take the second one, YAC. Y has to match up with P, so PKM. Okay, let's stop there, and we'll continue in part 2.